Hello and welcome to my Elite Dangerous, my personal fleet carrier, planetary exploration using the cutter, or with the cutter. We're actually using SRVs, but we're going to take the cutter so you can see it too sometimes because I just don't use it very much. So the Planetary is pretty good because we get to land on the planet with the cutter, and from the SRV you can see the cutter. So we're going to probably start doing that. Just have the cutter set up for our planetary exploration for a little while. Sys left. I believe we're on this last moon, so we'll be finished here. Yep, I think this is a good time to use the cutter, because there's not asteroids around or something that we can run into.
Landing gear retracted.
Ship release confirmed. Move clear of the landing pad.
Maintenance crew to refinery bin 6. There's something lodged in there, good and tight. All personnel should be aware that maintenance is due to be carried out on central life support at 0600 hours.
Yeah, you can tell this is a big ship. But again, thank you for coming along. Oh, we're mass locked. That's fine.
Be advised, subsystem shutdown on
Be sure to look to the bottom of the video to the right and press that subscribe button. I need all the subscribers I can get to eventually get support from YouTube, and at the moment I'm far away from that, so it doesn't cost you anything, but it'll really help me out, and plus you get notified when I create more of these videos that I have created. Over 500, probably over 550 by now. I haven't counted in the last couple of days. So, and if you would look underneath the video,
Frameshift drive charging.
and
Ready to engage.
you'll see options to donate. Please consider donating
4,
to our
3,
channel.
2, 1. Engage.
Putting all these videos together is very expensive. And underneath the video to the left, you'll see our YouTube page, GFM_RDG. Now my plan is to buy 3 more cutters, to have a cargo version, a mining version, a travel version, and a planetary version. So right now we're going to use this one as our planetary version. But we have to get over 10 billion right now in our day-to-day grind. And after we buy the fleet carrier, we're going to need to get it back to 10 billion again. And then when we get over that, then we'll buy those cutters. Cutters are over 200 million a piece. We can get a 15% discount. Just type in discount on my YouTube page and watch that video, and you'll see the stations, or the station that you can buy. Well, I don't know if they have cutters though. Yeah, I don't think they have cutters, but we can go to Jameson Memorial and get a 10% off, and they have everything. They have all ships and all modules. Yeah, that's probably where we're going to have to go. And Jameson Memorial, you have to have at least, I believe, at least one elite status. And I have two. I have a trade and exploring. We like being on the sunny side, where it's not too dark. And we do run around in the SRV, so we're not really using the cutter except for to transport us out here. But at least you get to see it on the planet when we get in the SRV and look back at the cutter. I do like where there's different shades or different terrain. So we might go right up there where there's the blue and the caverns and the two shades.
Orbital flight engaged.
Slow down just a little bit. But I do like the cutter. It's just so big and bulky, and it's not good as good with interdictions. I do have if you type in interdiction, and there's a 6 interdictions, and it's in the cutter when I experienced that. So you should check that out. It is a handful when you get 6 interdictions. Should come out Super Cruise very shortly. Or we're going to bring it out of Super Cruise. If it gets below, say 25, I'm going to knock it out. Yep, there it goes. We have a glide. It'll take us down to the surface. Coming out of glide. We'll do a look around. Got that blue glow. That's pretty wild. Probably get closer to the chasm over here. There's an older crater right there. Looks like right in here looks pretty good. Now, we were told this week that Frontier's going to cut the upkeep cost by 85.5% on average. Is this landing? So that is really awesome that the tritium
Landing gear
fuel
deployed.
can get you twice as far as it did before. That the ramp up period would go from an hour to 15 minutes, and the cool down will go from an hour to 5 minutes. That universal cartographics will be added by the May beta. Is this alternate? And we'll feather down to the planet. Make sure we don't go too fast. So gravity's not real heavy, or we'd be going down faster. Kind of on a slope, so we put our nose up a little bit. Says we can land right here, or close. This is a fun ship. You know, I do like it. If you can grind credits with me, you should get one of these. I don't use it all the time. I like my Pythons probably better. But this is next. It's number 2. Sys down. Sys down. Deploy. And we'll back away and turn around and look at the cutter from our we're much higher. But this is a much bigger ship than the Python. Sys dark. Sys dark. It's much bigger. Says we got to be further away before we can lift the turrets. All we want to be able to do is look at it. Sys ship.
Ship dismissed.
That's pretty cool. Yep, I like the cutter. And thank you for coming along with me. We gear down the engines, the distribution, because the SRV likes to slide around. But again, thank you for coming along. Make sure you press that subscribe button in the bottom or the lower right of the video. Helps me with YouTube. I'm far away from the minimum subscribers, but you can help me with that. Doesn't cost you anything. And you'll be notified when I create more of these videos. I mean, I do have the assets to be able to show you all kinds of things. I have 4 Pythons. Now they're in my live account, so they'll show up in the next beta. And I have a cutter, and I have the original Sidewinder, but I don't really use that one. It is on the fleet carrier right now. But the Python is the most versatile ship for me, and there's not really a need for a small ship at the moment. And I'm not terribly into combat. I do some skimmer and stinger and guardian skimmer bounty hunting. Sys scoop.
Cargo scoop deployed.
But I have a video on about every topic. Say about, because I'm not extreme combat. I don't do combat with other ships, because that's a little out of my league. I do have an elite status in trade and exploring, and I have competent in combat, but that's really just with skimmer stinger bounty hunting. So look those Look up skimmer bounty hunting. Those are a lot of fun because you can hide behind a rock or in a crater or behind a hill, and where just the turrets are sticking up over, and the skimmer stinger guardian skimmers cannot get a shot off. They're just ducks in a barrel because they try to lock on to the main part of your SRV, and if you're behind something they can't lock on. See this rock coming up on the left? That's about the perfect size to be behind, and your turrets will stick up over the top of it and it'll cover your SRV. So if you find one of those when you're near a trespass zone, that is pretty awesome. What I'm doing is looking for blips on the top of that back radar, our sensor. It's kind of called both, but the bottom ones are raw materials. And look up my videos on synthesis. That's pretty wild. Is this right? We'll show you a little bit of that. I don't know if we can do the other, but just say our weapons, when we shoot our weapons. Let's say if it's running out, we can reload our weapons 130 times just on sulfur and phosphorus. We can refuel 130 times just with the standard fuel, and then there is with a basic. With standard you get 35 refuels, but it's 100% fuel efficiency, so it's like 2 times the efficiency. And this premium is just unbelievable. I usually get up to about 4 times the efficiency with that, and we have 35 refills. So you can refill. Let's say the structure integrity, you can fix that on the planet, but of course when you load, when you dock with your ship, it automatically bumps your integrity back to 100%. Let's see here. Shows the cargo hatch, but it doesn't show your cargo. See, on your ship, if you click on the cargo, you can actually create limpids with iron and nickel. That's pretty cool too. So watch my videos on synthesis. Or if you even put in limpid, in my YouTube channel search, you'll see it'll say creating limpids with synthesis. So that's pretty neat. We have seen a couple of crash ships on the first 2 planets, the first 2 moons, the one that the fleet carrier is docked next to, or in orbit on, and the one underneath it. But that's all we've seen outside of raw materials so far. See, these are rocks, and we shoot the rocks, and the fragments or materials come out. Like right there, that's carbon. We have to have our fuel scoop down, and we do. I mean, not fuel scoop, but cargo scoop. So we got carbon, manganese, and another carbon. There is some more that we're missing. Oh, it's just others. Yeah. There's 3 of them out here. So, I mean, you could spend days just collecting materials. Now, this is materials that the engineers use to modify your ship. So, are your modules. So you do need those. That's very important. And for synthesis. So we're going to do more engineering videos. I do have engineering videos, so you should watch those. It's in very fine detail. I mean, it shows you how to unlock the engineers, where to find the material to unlock the engineer, the modules that they modify, and even the materials it took to modify them. And if you have more of one material than another, I have 3, or I have more than that. I think I have 6 videos on material traders. So that will show you how to exchange some of what you got for what you really need. And we gather, like we're gathering raw materials here, but like Dav's Hope, we can gather manufactured materials. And I have videos at Dav's Hope and at Jameson Crash Site. The Jameson Crash Site is for encoded materials. And you can log out to the main menu and come back, and you can just keep collecting them as long as you want to collect them. Now, of course, the purists don't like that. They think you should only collect once. But why do you go all that way just to collect them once? One round. Nope, you should play it the way you want to play it. If you want to be a purist, fine. You should be able to be. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying I'm not one of them. And I'm not an apologist for Frontier either. So if you watch my videos, it's very clear. Oh, we have a lot of material. Yeah, this is a good planet for collecting materials. There is a whole lot of them. Now when we fill up, we're going to have to go check out the material traders to move it around, but this beta is probably going to be over before that happens. But the next beta, well, see, we're not adding any materials to our live account. This is all beta, and it's only beta. So that's why it's fun to do all this, but it's not really helping us in the long run. Now in June, when we actually buy a fleet carrier, then yes, then it helps us. We're going to come back here and do all this again in June. Then it does help us. I am looking forward to June. I really am. Yeah, sometimes they'll hide behind rocks. Hide behind other rocks. And all you have to do is touch them with any part of your SRV. It doesn't matter. Your fuel scoop gets them no matter, and sometimes even a foot or two beyond your SRV. Or those that are in the UK and Europe, as I say, a meter, let's say, away from the SRV. Checking out things because I have an on-call job that I have to jump when I'm called upon, so works good for doing YouTube videos. But sometimes I have to pause and come back and finish the video. Usually you don't know the difference unless you've watched the time up there. You might see an hour added sometimes between the start of the video, well, maybe longer than that, maybe 2 or 3 hours between the start and the end of the video, and even if it's only an hour or 45 minutes. Because I got called upon. But it's very difficult with 2 jobs, and one of them doesn't pay anything and the other doesn't pay enough. So that's why we're asking for donations for the YouTube side. I have it all the way zoomed out on that bottom radar so you can see if there's a cliff that you're coming up on. See, it's trying to turn me all the way around. A lot of times it will. No matter what you do, it'll turn you in the opposite direction. And I'm not a fan of that. It's just the obstacle course mentality of the game, of the developers. They want everything to be an obstacle. And for me, I want it a little bit more about reality than obstacle and pirate fantasy. Let's look around, see if there's any blips on the top of that radar. They're all at the bottom. So that's just raw materials. And don't get me wrong, raw materials are good, and someday I want to max my materials. My raw, my manufactured, and my encoded. I want them maxed out where I can't take any more. That would be really awesome. And the way I can do that is keep moving things around, balancing it out. So when I do fill up, I go back to the material and move the material around. And the ones I have the least of, I trade for more of those. And so if I ever need them, I have them. And to get a lower grade from a higher grade, you can get more of them. So you could, get like up to 20 grade 5, or get 20 grade 1s or more. You can probably get hundreds of grade 1s for 1 grade 5. So it's good to move things to the higher grade because it's easier to trade the higher grades for lower grades. You can get more of them. Check those material trader videos out. And I used to get terrible motion sickness when I first started this. You do get used to it in a VR headset. And you should try a VR headset. Now, I had the Oculus Rift and it was a 1080. That's not good enough. You're not going to be pleased with that. This is the S, and both the Quest and the S are 4K. I can't wait for the 8Ks to come out though. The 4K is really good, but you can have too good of resolution. Okay. Yeah, we're not getting any other blips besides raw materials. Like those 2 crashed ships on the first moon and second moon were the only non-raw material that I've seen. Yep, looks like we got into that crater that we landed next to. Yep, I enjoy running around on the planets. especially if you get in an uninhabited system. It's very nice, very peaceful. You don't have pirates or NPCs trying to come down to check you out and see if they want to destroy you for your cargo. Now your materials, they can't take that from you. It's like all on a pen drive in your pocket. So if you die, it goes with you. And you don't carry much cargo on a SRV. It's only 2 units that you can carry. That's 2 tons. See what kind of time we've got. Yeah, it's about time. Sis, ship.
Ship recalled.
So we'll pick up these 2 that are right here and find out where the ship goes. Sometimes I think the ship goes back to the fleet carrier. There it is. Yeah, it's going to park close. They hardly ever park close. Yep, I like the cutter. It is a neat ship. It is unnamed. Commander R. Giles. Squadron ID is GFM R. Competent, lawless, no faction. It's because we're in an uninhabited. So someone could destroy us and they wouldn't get a bounty on them. Because we're lawless. It means that we're in a lawless system. Anarchy. We'll go get this one and then we'll come back. Now if you get over, I think it's like 7,500 meters, 7,500 meters, it'll take off and go into orbit again. You get that far away from it. But I wanted to bring out the cutter too so you could see it. And on the planet setting. Okay, so that's enough of that. It is 500 meters away. So scoop.
Cargo scoop retracted.
See, that cobalt looks better on a planet than it does, and in space than it does in the hangar. That's why I make them cobalt, because it just looks so much better. Compared to the Python, this thing is so huge. And on the wings, you can have gunners. You can hire gunners or your friends, or if you're playing in the friend mode. Yeah, look how far it is. Sis down.
Handbrake is on.
I mean, there's a chance we're going to is this down? So there is a spot. Is this down? That we can board. Is this down? Is this down? Yep, there's a spot that you can get on where it grabs you. But be sure to press that subscribe button. That'll really help me out. And you can look. I can't wait till space legs where we can walk around inside the ship. With the VR, you can look around inside, which is really nice. But I am looking forward to the space legs by the end of the year, because I want to walk around in the ship. Now you can actually be sitting down and manning your avatar that's walking around in the ship. Is this left? Yeah, our fleet carrier's over there. Is this landing?
Landing gear retracted.
Gotta wait for mast lock to go off.
Frameshift drive charging.
Sys view.
Ready to engage.
Sure. My VR headset was lined up.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Is this alternate? Gravitational pull of the planet keeps you kind of slow for a little while. Is this left? And let Super Cruise Assist take over. But yes, I should use the cutter more often. I don't like it when there's heavy interdictions. Like if I'm at Sothis mining or in Sothis or Ceos, I don't like using the cutter as much. I'd rather use the Python because it's just so much more agile. So but there's times, I mean, when you're in an uninhabited system, it's fun. But if you're around asteroids, it's, I don't know. I think it's just too easy to hit an asteroid with something this big. When I have the fleet carrier there and I can take back the materials that I collect easier, take it back to the fleet carrier. So yeah, we gotta make sure we don't hit a planet. Yeah, Super Cruise Assist is not one of those that you click it and forget it. It'll run you right through a planet if it's in the line of sight of your destination. But when I'm transferring
Welcome, Commander.
tritium,
Adherence to the speed limit is appreciated.
but when you're transporting tritium, the cutter can hold 720 cargo units, where the Python only carries
This is operations. We're picking up
280.
fire activity. Expect disruptions. Over.
Is this left?
Docking request accepted. You are welcome to approach, Commander. Request accepted.
Command, reports are coming in from Delta Squad. Be on the lookout for smuggler traffic in the area.
But it's a fun ship.
Command, we're commencing routine maintenance check on Deck 5.
Landing gear deployed.
But for Planetary, the cutter's a good one to do, because at least you get to see it a little bit. I get to fly it a little bit. And, yeah, it works good.
How's the market looking? Can someone update with the current values? Deck 7 is only accepted.
Docking confirmed. Ship has docked. Welcome to this carrier, Commander.
Well, I thank you for coming along on that planetary exploration trip and using the cutter. So, hope you'll be willing to come back and watch some more of my videos. Please press that subscribe button at the lower right hand corner of the video. And it doesn't cost you anything, helps me out greatly with YouTube. And it will notify you when I produce more videos. Please consider donating to our channel. We can really use the funds. And underneath the video to the left, you'll see my YouTube channel name, GFM_RDG, where you'll find more of those 500 and probably 550 at least by now, plus videos that I have produced. So until next time, thank you for watching.